So I've been notified that the Riverboat Jack Hopium video is actually pretty good. So we're going to take a look at that here in just a second. You know, hearing that Hopium is here in the Riverboat Jack video, that's also all fine and dandy, but, like, I want to show you guys my dinner. Because, like, look at this. Look at this. We've got some chicken katsu. We've got some green onions, some chili oil, some sesame oil, and some soy sauce and rice all mixed together. This is going to give me hope while we watch the Riverboat Jack video. This is like pure, unadulterated comfort for me. All right? And I made this on stream. And by on stream, I mean I set everything up to make it in the kitchen while I was streaming. You too can cook for yourself and not have it be a problem. That's an entirely okay thing you can do.
Folks, I want to talk a little bit about hope, because I understand it's in quite short supply, and I wanted to just chat a little bit about what I'm finding hopeful in the current moment. And number one is the fact that people from all across this country in their own neighborhoods are standing up and are doing their best to fight for their neighbors and their friends and their family. You know, they are doing the work. They are putting their lives and their bodies on the lines in order to fight these masked, faceless ghouls that are patrolling our streets and trying to snatch up anyone that looks, you know, racially convenient to them, demographically convenient to them, we'll say. And I wanted to share this video with you. This came out a few days ago from Chicago. And let's just watch what happens here. You know, you've got an ICE agent trying to detain a man here.
All right. We have ICE being ICE.
Starts trying to choke him out.
Oh, can we just brick the ICE agent at that point? Like, if he's trying to choke somebody.
Like, I want to point out, they've already roughed up this guy so much that one of his shoes is gone. Like, has just been kicked off in the scuffle.
Jesus.
They're choking him. They're trying, like, he's throwing his phone to, like, bystanders. Like, this is some, like, this is some authoritarian fascist shit. These people who are doing the snatching, they deserve each and every one to be prosecuted. And in my ideal world, each one would hold a jail cell till the end of time for their role in what they are doing.
I can agree with that. That sounds
They're trying to get him in the car.
I like how there's so much honking happening, it's hard for ICE to fucking do shit here. Community members just descend. He's shouting, "Help me, help me, help me." He's grabbing on to folks who are stopping by and trying to help him.
Let him go! Let him go! Get off him!
Jesus,
more and more
Christ.
people converging.
If a masked person decided to try to fucking detain me, holy shit, do you know how quick a wrist would be broken? And by that, I mean, of course, mine. I go to the gym, but, like, I don't fucking fight anybody right now. My wrists are getting broken trying to hit. Like, I'm gonna hit out of anger. But my wrist is getting broken at that point. Absolutely.
Ayúdame, quítalo.
Like, the community members step in, start pulling their cuffs away, throwing them down the street, and like these absolute fascist jackasses are like running into traffic, almost getting hit by cars because they're so desperate to try and like scoop up this man for the crime of like no crime at all. Just he looks like a guy. He looks like the kind of profile of guy. And we all know what that means. The Supreme Court had to step in and say, actually, it's totally fine for these fascist fucks to just grab people off the street because they look Hispanic. Yeah, running into a funeral procession of cars. Yeah, no, that is what's happening here, by the way.
Hey, get the fuck out of here! I see your fucking face, bro! Let him go!
The community just converges on that spot. Those two guys go, oh shit, wait a minute. These people, like if you watch earlier in the video, these people have already risked like assault charges by laying hands on these officers. You can see...
yeah, because it's ICE officers. You can't see me doing finger quotes, but I am.
Here, this woman is putting hands on this ICE officer. This man, I think, is the one who like slips off and like throws the cuffs, right? Oh no, he gets them off. Okay, and then he throws them there. But like, these people are putting themselves on the line. Like, ICE has already been shooting people, right? But at the same time, like, these people are heroes. I don't know if this is the case, but do you think they're helping because this is a tight-knit community? I mean, that might be part of it, but I think by and large, the other part of it is that people in general now are recognizing ICE as a threat that they must expel from their streets. People have now collectively, en masse, as a society, agreed, hey, actually these people from outside our community, these masked goons who are abducting people, are in fact bad. And when we see them doing these bad things, these attempts to kidnap people, the good thing to do is to intervene, right? This is...
Thank fucking Christ. Because, like, don't get me wrong, you do risk assault charges. You do, 100%. But the right thing to do when the Gestapo comes a-knocking is to knock the Gestapo the fuck out.
An excellent, excellent turn of events, right? And
but do bear in mind, when I say that's the right thing to do, that is not me suggesting you should do it. Because whether or not it's the right thing does not mean that it's the safe thing to do. It does not mean that it's a thing that can be done without massive consequences. It can be the right thing to do to free a slave in, you know, ye olde America, while still accepting that the risk you run in doing so is so immense that most people would not want to put their neck on the line like that.
And I mean, like, we'll get to this again later. I'll be using this clip, but ICE is also, and ICE in this context needs to be understood as like the foot soldiers of the fascist regime. Like, they've effectively been rendered this lawless force that answers to no one but Trump. And we're kind of seeing this manifest in an interesting way that is not helpful to the regime at all, in the form of cops that are turning up to separate protesters from ICE officers who are attempting to do, you know, kidnappings, are finding themselves the victims of ICE violence as well. Here's a video from over the weekend.
They'll throw you in the fucking grill. They'll throw you in the fire. They'll throw you in the fire, grill. Understand? They just tear gas.
If you are a police officer and you help out ICE, then you should not be involved in law enforcement. The Nuremberg trials will not be kind to you either.
They don't give a fuck about you either. Why you protecting them?
And remember, like I'm a Pokemon fan. I'm a Pokemon fan. So I want you to remember, Ice is weak to steel, Ice is weak to fire, and Ice can be weak to rock.
These two cops getting tear gassed by ICE. Like, ICE is shooting tear gas at the cops. These are the people who need to be on the side of the fascist regime, because the cops actually generally live in the local community. And when you start alienating...
You're right. Ice is also weak to fighting. Ice types are very weak to fighting. Imagine that.
...them like this, it's a big deal. The more that cops identify with protesters rather than ICE, the better it is. The harder it is for ICE to, gain cooperation. The harder it is for them to gain actual support from the local cops and local jurisdiction. And this is good. These are good things. Every single time that these people alienate, the general population, which is almost nonstop. It is truly incredible how often these people alienate just your average people, right? And I wanted to share this with you because when we're talking about resistance and we're talking about fighting this regime, a lot of people think of you got to get in the streets, you got to get ready to scrap, right? And well, I gotta be honest. I think that there are some more effective ways to actually diffuse what we're seeing here.
Yeah, most people are not in a position to scrap either. I'm going to be honest, as leftists, we should all be spending 20 to 30 minutes in the gym a day, right now. Because many of us have the thought process of, oh, if it were to come into my neighborhood, if this were to happen in my hood, we would fight back. But that fighting back only goes so far if you don't have the wherewithal or the ability to do so. So I suggest 20 to 30 minutes in the gym. Planet Fitness membership is pretty cheap. If you can't afford that, then go outside and lift some cement. Just find some concrete and just lift it around.
Because I want to remind you all that Donald Trump is going around and his rhetoric on what is happening in, say, Portland is absolutely insane and unhinged from reality.
We're going to look at that. It was amazing. Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa. And yet the politicians who are petrified. Look, the politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason that they say, there's nothing happening. And you've seen it. The place is burning down, and they pretend like there's nothing happening.
The place is burning down!
I don't think the place is burning down, actually. I don't think that's happening.
Need any tips on alienating the general population? I'm sure Pete Hegseth could give them pointers.
Oh God, I'm sure. If you need tips on how to alienate the general population, just look at just look at Stephen Miller. That dude can't be you've got literally the worst peopling oriented people in charge of the country right now. You got Stephen Miller, someone who would make even the most conservative person's skin crawl. You've got JD Vance, a man who can't even order donuts or look at a couch and be normal about it. And then you've got Pete Hegseth, a guy who's literally made out of snake oil. They're these people are completely not the folks who can sell this fascist project, And on top of that, when we talk about getting out on the street, one of the ways you can do that is by undermining the perception of the protests in the conservative mind. I posted this over on Blue Sky because I think it is an excellent example of what I mean here, of both destroying the narrative that is being put forward by the Trump administration and by ICE, and by getting involved on the ground, but in a slightly different than imagined way. This is from the account The Anti-Fascist Frog.
The inflatables! The inflatable frog! Oh my god!
Oh god. The fucking hip thrusts, dude. Oh.
Gyrate your hips at ice. Oh my god, they're backing up! They're backing away from the frog. That frog might have a hip thrust bomb.
The frog is casting dangerous anti-fascist magic. Indeed, indeed. God, I like.
And
this is what I mean. Or this. You know, like this is posted by Senator Ron Wyden, and like this is what's happening outside that facility in the daytime. You got like a goddamn giant inflatable capybara. Like there's it's the quietest, most peaceful thing, and people are just, you know, turning it into absurdity. And I think that's another effective and wonderful way to do protest.
Pete Hegseth was literally in front of an audience of generals while alienating them.
It's true. Like, if you need to get people on your side, sending them out there to call them all fat is not the way to do it. Like, I'm sorry, if you want people to like you and be on your side, you can't do it that way. So, I just...
Sidebar, go to an ICE facility and just call them fat. Half of the people who work for ICE don't have the kind of backbone to fight you on it. Or rather, they'll do everything in their power to fight you on it because they do not have the security, the personal security, to accept you calling them fat. These thin-skinned jockeys.
I'm putting all this together here for you because I think that generally what we are seeing is, you know, kind of what's outlined here in the American Prospect. This piece was written, you know, last month, about a month ago, you know, minus 10 days. Can resistance succeed? Which is a pretty scary headline, you know? And I would recommend folks read this article. I'll link it in chat here for you guys. Because I think it's good. I think it's nice stuff. But basically, it is going through what is happening right now within the country, the battles in the courts, the different like things that people are attempting to slow down this administration and, you know, make things happen. And the way that like Zoran Mamdani has kind of shifted the political paradigm. And the way that, like, the National Guard is being stymied in its deployments by Donald Trump. You know, now, he's not the one doing the stymieing, but you guys understand what I mean. And towards the end of this, I just want to get down here towards the end, which I thought was... It's a long piece, but I think this ending is great. All of the foregoing suggests that the great American democratic experiment is far from over. If the slide to autocracy can be slowed and reasonably fair elections preserved, the millions of citizens engaged in resistance could stay mobilized to elect a drastically different governing coalition and set of policies. If the antibodies to tyranny continued to revive, Trump's paradoxical legacy may be a reawakened citizenry. Over the long term, that is the only antidote to Trumpism. And I think that's right. I think that is correct. I think that, like, what is necessary is getting as many people as possible aware of what is happening and getting them not just aware that it's happening, but to actually take action in some form or fashion within their communities. Because those two things need to happen. It is not enough to simply know what is happening. You need to do something about it. It's a two-part thing. You need like the knowledge, and then you need to act upon that knowledge to make a difference.
Right? Yeah, I can agree with that. It is one thing entirely to know that bad things happen. We all know bad things happen. It's another thing entirely to actually do something about it. Now, the problem you run into is people who absolutely want to do something about it, but do not know what to do. Now, I'm sure that Jack, because Jack's fucking great. If you've never seen Riverboat Jack's content, she is fantastic. I've hung out with her in real life. I've done collaborations with her, and we even share an editor. Like, I think Riverboat Jack is absolutely fantastic. But I do want to note, and this is very important, knowing that you need to do something and knowing what to do are different. So, if I were to suggest things to do, the first thing I'd suggest is, of course, 5 calls. You talk to your senators, talk to your congressmen, talk to the people in power over you, and quite literally threaten their goddamn jobs. Threaten that you will primary them, that you will vote for their opposition in the primary. You will make sure opposition comes for them to be voted against in the primary. Make certain that people in power know that they have to abide by the whims of the people, because they are quite literally at our employ. Our tax dollars directly fund them, and they should act like it. They honestly should act like our tax dollars fund their shit. You can also go to protests. Going to protest is great because it is a time where you and multiple other people can come together in order to share a shared grievance. And that community that you become a part of when you go to a protest is fantastic. Make sure that whenever you go to a protest, you always have at least somebody who you've gotten contact from at the end. Go to dinner with them afterwards. If one of you has time, do that shit. Because there's going to be more stuff that community is going to do afterwards that you very likely will want to be a part of.
Right? And so what I'm suggesting here is that, folks, you guys do make a difference. And like, I want to point out that, you know, the entire history of the United States is building up this kind of resistance. And the point is not just so that we can get one measly change and disintegrate as a movement, but that we need to hold true to a set of principles. Those principles need to be rooted in democracy, in equality and equity, in commitment to one another's humanity, and the betterment of our world. Because just as we should always seek to better ourselves, so too should we seek to better our world. You know, kind of that age-old adage of like, you know, leave a space better than how you found it, right? And I want to point out that if you're feeling a bit down right now, if you are still feeling, oh man, maybe this whole democratic experiment has failed, I would encourage you to read, you know, maybe for the first time ever, I would encourage you to read this section of Mencius Moldbug's thinking. For those of you who don't know who Mencius Goldbug is, that is the pen name of one Curtis Yarvin. And Curtis Yarvin is, you know, kind of the fascist thinker of the moment. He is the guy who, as Trump was coming into office, had the ear of many of these technocratic billionaires, had the ear of many conservative politicians, and was writing essentially that what Trump needed to do was to come in and start the Holocaust. And I'm not being facetious here. I'm not being hyperbolic here. He was literally calling for execution chambers to expedite the killing of political dissidents and journalists, right? This was kind of his thinking, right? He is a disgusting fascist who has somehow been allowed to exist within the current academic panoply of thinkers that hold influence.
Hexeth pulled a sorry Sarge, you told me to call our generals fat cool cats, but I thought you wanted me to call them fat cold, P-word for cats.
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry Sarge.
It's true, Cogsley. Thank you for the $10 super chat. And Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I'll look at that link when we're done with this segment. But I wanted to read out what Curtis Yarvin is saying about this particular moment in time, because I think you guys will take some hope from it. All right? The second Trump revolution, like the first, is failing. It is failing because it deserves to fail. It is failing because it spends all its time patting itself on the back. It is failing because its true mission, which neither it nor still less its supporters understand, is still far beyond its reach as algebra is beyond a cat. Because the vengeance meted out after its failure will dwarf the vengeance after 2020, because the successes of the second revolution are so much greater than the first. I feel that I personally have to start thinking realistically about how to flee the country. Everyone else in a similar position should have a 2029 plan as well. It's not even clear that it will wait until 2029. Losing the Congress will instantly put the administration on the defensive. Here's a Twitter exchange that captures the situation perfectly. First, Stephen Miller of Homeland Security. And there's
Roper Goebbels says, Curtis Yarvin is Jewish, by the way. I don't care that he's Jewish. I care that he's wrong. Like, I care that he is himself a fascist who tries to get people that I love dead. Like, that's what I care about. More than anything, I don't give a shit about whether or not he's Jewish. That doesn't actually have any bearing on anything.
There's a screenshot of Stephen Miller saying, the issue before is now... God, Stephen Miller can't even fucking tweet right. The issue before is now is very simple and clear. There's a large and growing movement of left-wing terrorism in this country. It is well organized and funded, and it is shielded by far-left democratic...
Right. I'm sorry. Groiper Gerbils. I don't know if I need to actually take you seriously. You have the name Groiper. Your entire movement is a fucking joke of people who have a long time ago lost the ability to have sex with women.
Democrat judges, prosecutors, and attorneys general. The only remedy is to use legitimate state power to dismantle terrorism and terror networks. In which he's talking about using, the federal government to dismantle the judiciary and like the state judiciaries, I guess, because he's a deeply unserious person. Quote, when you see clips of, we're back to Yarvin now. When you see clips of masked DHS goons hauling off some equally masked anarchist, you may be tempted to cheer. Don't. Yes, charges will be filed. No, it will not harm the anarchist. It will make his day, his year, and maybe his life. All the money and power in the world.
Wait, he's saying don't cheer on when, like, the judicial system hits the people that they want it to hit? That's insane. That is... Oh my god, that is cucked behavior if I have ever seen it. Yarvin the pussy.
Will be at his defense. He will not even need to lift a finger to organize his own lawyers, much less pay them. In the end, as with many of the BLM rioters, he will probably be well compensated with taxpayer funds for his trouble. Not to mention all the pussy and or dick she or he will, as a martyr, be entitled to. For the Islamist, this reward is only in heaven, but for the leftist, it comes on earth. I'm sorry, the fuck.
That's hilarious. Yarvin's just like, oh no, people who go to protests get laid? This makes me angry. Fucking, these people are a joke. Oh my god, they're such jokes. It is crazy that we live in a time where this is contemporary fascist writing. That is wild to me. Absolutely wild.
The fucking rampant inceldom that is, oh yeah, our enemies are all getting laid. All the leftists who are going to the protests are getting laid. That's what he's saying. He's saying, like, when he's saying the Islamists, the reward is in heaven, he's saying basically Muslims get, like, pussy in heaven, but leftists get pussy on earth. That's essentially what he's saying.
Yes, pussy on earth as it is in heaven, dry as Ben Shapiro wills it.
And this man is bereft of maidens, as the classicists like to say.
Bereft of maidens.
The reward for Stephen Miller and his ilk is also on Earth.
Absolutely maidenless behavior.
Earth. They look tough. They're doing something. that they are not even doing 0.01% of what it would take to solve the problem, that at much more risk to themselves, the most they could probably do is 0.05% matters not. They can milk it as far as it goes. They too will sell books. Basically, what Curtis Yarvin is saying here is that essentially leftists are all getting laid, and that this administration, if it wanted to actually succeed in the project of having a fascist state, would need to actually kill millions of its left-leaning opponents, and it's not doing that, and therefore it will fail. Because it's already lost in the court of public opinion, and really the only way you could have not done that is kill the public that doesn't support you. And so that's what he's saying. When he's saying like this administration isn't doing, is doing 0.01% of what it takes to actually succeed, he's talking about the fact that they're not doing massacres on the regular, right?
It is 100% pussy behavior. It is. It is the behavior of somebody who has completely failed at their due diligence of being a human being to sit there and scream that we should be killing more people, actually, and that life is better, and I would get laid more if only we killed more of the bad people that I personally don't like. My God, it is pathetic behavior. It is laughably pathetic behavior.
That is the entire point.
Also, if you're a leftist, you can hypothetically get 72 virgins with one giant polycule. Take that religion.
If you're a leftist, you can get 72 virgins by walking into a fucking Magic the Gathering store. Easiest shit in the world. Like, you can fucking no-diff sex at a shop like that because you are going to find people who haven't figured out that sex is a thing. And you know what? I say that as a person who frequents Magic the Gathering shops. 110%.
Religion.
I mean, I don't think if somebody's in a polycule, they're a virgin, Jazz Dog. But thank you for the $5 donut. Maybe it's possible. I don't. Polycules are beyond me. I'm sorry. Monogamy is where I'm at because, I met the love of my life. But that being said, it should be heartening to you that the people who have spent the most time trying to plan and coordinate and piece their way into a fascist government are looking at what is happening right now, and they're going, oh no, we're losing so badly that we need to start trying to flee the country. Oh no, we are
oh no, fascism didn't work. Oh no,
we're losing badly, and if actual consequences happen, we're fucked.
Curtis Yarvin is someone who should have been trolled off the internet years ago. He's pathetic. He thinks he's deep, but he's just an edgy moron.
I mean, that is true.
Yeah?
That is very true. The issue is he comes from that 4chan background where you can't bully him off the internet. That's what he gets off on. He likes the bullying. So it's just I took some great degree in comfort in that. We are looking at a system that has, in my estimation, stalled a lot of the fascist attempts of this government to seize power. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them. And I think that we will, in fact, make it another year, especially if Democrats hold firm today. Because let me tell you, Republicans fucking hate a government shutdown like this. As for all the posturing of...
And it happens so often under their leadership. Isn't that weird? Isn't that super strange?
The Trump administration, they hate it. And they are losing in the battle of public opinion, which means that they are not going to come out of this looking better. They're going to come out of this looking worse. And they were already looking about as bad as any administration, as any Congress has ever looked in history. We are in actually a very good situation here when we... at least in regards to the project of making it to the midterms and actually having elections and actually defeating our adversaries. Because these people, the people who were the true believers of a fascist revolution, they're terrified right now. Please keep going out and protesting. Keep being silly little guys, gals, and non-binary pals, okay? Keep putting on those costumes and making your protests silly, ridiculous, and welcoming. Because we're coming up now to No Kings on October 18th here, all right? Make sure you get it on your calendars. No Kings, folks. Because what we're looking at with No Kings 2 on October 18th is a larger demonstration than the last No Kings, which I want to remind everyone, the last No Kings demonstration was one of the largest civil rights demonstrations in modern American history. And folks, we need to make it even bigger. And right now, there are more protest locations planned than there were for the first No Kings. And we still got 2 weeks left, folks. All right? Get to work.
Now, it's not 2 weeks now. At time of recording, that happens in 4 days. And by the time this goes out on the channel, it will likely be going out in 3 days. So that's your weekend, folks. That's your weekend. I may actually take some time to go film some of the protest myself. It just depends. It entirely depends. If my mental health is in the poo-poo-doo-doo, then I may spend that time at the shop as I normally would, recharging my batteries. If not, you may see me out there with my camera equipment, and I may just be live streaming the whole damn thing. Who knows? Who knows? That all said, that does seem to be the end of Riverboat Jack's video, and thus that concludes, well, us watching it. But what did I think? Let me go ahead and give that bit of info here. I think she did a fantastic job illuminating the reasons why we should have some hopium right now. Because right now, truly and honestly, we are in a position where it's easy to succumb. It's so goddamn easy to just succumb to despair. And I really want to implore you, don't. It doesn't do you any good. Like Riverboat Jack, she can implore you from the position of somebody who is very heavily involved in politics and is looking at the bigger picture and all of that fun stuff. And you know what? That is her forte. That is what she's good at. What I'm good at is the personal philosophy side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and throw you some information. I think it would be a fantastic idea for you to not despair. And my reason for that is because if you despair, if you fall into that, oh, woe is me, everything's horrible, everything's gonna go badly, why would I even try mentality, you don't do anybody any good. You don't do yourself any good. You become a useless person. That's actually 100%, given how pragmatic I try to be, I believe that that's the insult I'm going to be leaning on more often than not. You become a useless person. That despair doesn't help you. If watching my channel makes you feel despair, stop watching my fucking channel. Go watch the Magic the Gathering channel. Go do something. Go do something else. Go do something that fills you up. Because when it comes time to go out and protest, when it comes time to talk to your politicians, when it comes time to sit down and do the work politically, in whatever form that may take for you, when that time comes, you cannot fill somebody else's bucket if yours is empty. And doing this kind of work, it's filling a lot of people's buckets. It really and truly is. You are having to keep up support networks. You are having to talk with people. You are having to keep people happy, or these movements don't function. And when you let yourself succumb, you are no longer keeping yourself happy, and you don't function as part of a movement anymore. Anger can only get you so far. It can only get you so far. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full-time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.